What is $1 for you? $1 is the debt of American government to you when you hold this paper in your hand. In decentralization, when we are talking from blockchain technologies, or I would say Internet of Things, you see there is a lot of participation. In this $1, you can not only find, I would say, the debt of America, you also find the feelings of the people and the future of a life.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk About Tech. The world has become decentralized. The Internet of Blockchains is approaching, yet there is visionaries that see the world unite. I'm very happy to introduce you today to Erol User from the far Turkey, Istanbul. Great to have you here in Vienna in our studio.
Thank you very much, Berthold.
It's great to have you. You are a visionary, an entrepreneur, a banker, advisor to politics, an author. You have so many roles in your life and you have achieved so many things. What drives you?
Okay, when you are talking from so many things, you can remind the people for a magician. I am not a magician. I'm always acting on the facts. So I would like to say it is a growth as a person in you, because my aim is to change the world for good. But before you change the world good, you should change yourself to be good. So that's the reason of my story on these facts.
How does the decentralization and uniting the world, the topic of today's talk, how did this come to your life, right? You started with different standard careers, I would say, right?
Yeah.
And then evolved into entrepreneurship and picked up always new technologies. How did that come?
I can say I'm, in reality, a very centralized person, because my background is coming from World Bank, for government, and then for a group of companies CEO. So I act almost on the start very centralized. But to make the change, you should give the opportunities. You should let the people know more other ways than you have or you dictated. So decentralization, I would say, is like liberalization of the life. I would say, in a way, you rebel to the laws and rules in a legal way. So when you are talking from dollar, what is $1 for you? In $1 is the debt of American government to you when you hold this paper in your hand. In decentralization, because when we are talking from blockchain technologies, or I would say Internet of Things, you see there is a lot of participation. In this $1, you can not only find, I would say, the debt of America, you also find the feelings of the people and the future of a life.
This is very interesting because, this global currency of Bitcoin is perceived by some people heroic, and by some others like the villain of the central banks, right? Mm-hmm. Why are people striving so much for this liberalization, this decentralization? Why do they want to unlock from governments? Or is there a different driver beneath?
I mean, we are normally electing the people who is going to govern us. And sometimes you see a lot of things are changing on the way. Example, the good people, even in politics, could be sick of power, and they can start to do mistakes. I mean, if you look in the high-level mistakes, it is very dangerous. But as a person, if you do a mistake, it could be turned into an experience. There is very big difference between the level or position where you are. So when you say decentralization, it means you can do something with your own way of thinking. I mean, you decide what to do, not depending on anything. But if you look on decentralization, if there are many peoples who makes their own decision decentralized, when they come together, so they can be also together. So togetherness doesn't need to be centralized. That is the core, I think, of all this decentralization, I will say, with Bitcoin, the movement.
Is Bitcoin a technology for peace?
Bitcoin is not the technology. Blockchain behind Bitcoin is a technology, a very big development, because in blockchain technology, you can see the trust, what today's world needs. If you go in medieval time, you see the people were trading, shaking hands, and everything was moving very good. But today's world, shaking hands is not enough. Even contracts, agreements are not enough. Therefore, there are institutes for arbitrage, there are courts of conflicts. So in blockchain, you don't need that. You can do peer-to-peer. I can send you some goods. You pay to me on blockchain technology. I receive my money. You receive your good. So there is no complaint.
Sounds simple, yet for a lot of people out there, blockchain is incredibly difficult, right? Do you think, or do you have applications of blockchain that are seamless in mind or even on the market already?
Yeah, because we are, I mean, blockchain technology started to known in the cryptocurrency trading. But if you look to blockchain technology, what we are doing, you can use also in another sectors like healthcare. If you move health data from your point to the doctor, you could not change, It is very trustful delivery. Plus, you can do smart contracts. You can sign an agreement with your workers or with your staff, a smart contract on blockchain. Nobody could change. You can follow, tracking the fish which was hunted in, I would say, in East Africa and coming to your table through a gross market. You can follow from where, when it is get it and come to your table, and you can see the duration. Before, in any other technology, you could not do it. And there is a lot of examples. I don't want to promote, but we are doing also with NASA. We are doing with NASA space debris to put the space debris into the blockchain system. Okay, if you ask me, Erol, what is the for? Yeah, because now the world is developing. There is a lot of satellites are in the space. There are a lot of researchers, a lot of institutes are working now in space. So we should really feel what we own as person. Space doesn't belong to governments. Space belongs to us. The world belongs to us. Whether you are an Austrian, I'm a Turkish, or we have friends from different countries, there is no borders if you are talking from decentralization. So that gives to everyone more wide vision to be together. Because Chinese Confucius said that, more earlier, he said, a walk of single step starts, a walk of 1,000 miles starts with a single step.
Right.
So everything is like that. When we come together with you, we don't know what we will do together when we bring our powers on a decentralized system, what we will do tomorrow together.
I think, like in many ways, you're a thought leader and innovator, right? And you explained me just yesterday about the first AI hospital that you put into place, and it's actually working. This sounds incredible, right? But sometimes there's always this, or in such cases, there's always this barrier, human fear, right? That people, they see new technologies, they're kind of amazed by them, they kind of like them, but then they're not curious enough to take a risk. How did you overcome those leaps of innovation in your life, all the different innovation steps that you have seen, and how did you always manage to find how to implement the new things?
Very simple. Never give up.
Okay.
I mean, you should continue the work in what you believe in. I mean, I'm always saying that's an old word of Oscar Wilde. People see the things as they are, and they are asking why. I prefer to dream of things which are not existing. Therefore, I'm asking why not? This is the key sentence. Why not? When we started the project AI Hospital, we know it was difficult because when you are talking to be in medicine a doctor, you should study. You need a diploma to work in a hospital. It should be registered diploma. But Chinese government, I would say, they are more open. And they said, okay, when you cooperate with an university in Tianjin, we can do it with you. So we started now an AI hospital in Tianjin with 14 AI doctors. And we are doing it to work with virtually with many patients. So I think the thing is the people never give up. I mean, when you believe in something, you really go for it.
How do you convince big partners? I would assume that for the AI hospital, you have some of the biggest clinics in the world, etc. as partners. How do you convince them to join such innovative and I would say groundbreaking projects?
Everybody wants to be in their life number one, or they want to be known as they did something when they pass away. So when you go to them, you explain the project first, and you ask whether they want to be a part or they want to miss the opportunity. Because if the first one says no, you can go, I have the chance for many. But if I walk away, they have no chance. So then they should do like a look what they can get and what they can lose. If you make this type of thinking, then they decide to be with you. But when you give them a project, all the facts, all the figures should be seen. I mean, if you think something and give or talk, it is not enough. Because first of all, you should, when you think you are doing a business, there are many stakeholders. If you don't convince all the stakeholders, then you have no success. But you let them, everyone, involved in it actively. Japanese are hunting tuna fish in different oceans and bringing to Japan. And when they bring it to Japan, it takes 15 days when they reach Japan's ports. And they look, the quality of the meat of the fish is not so well as they hunted. And they find a solution. They put into big cans a shark. And shark is moving after tuna fish to catch, and all should move. And they stayed really actively, and their meat stayed good. And if you look there, shark has eaten, I would say, 4 or 5 tuna fish on the trip, 15 days. But the quality of the other fishes are so well, you can compensate. So when you do a work, when you give up or when you do, you should always look. The calculation is easy, not only figures. What is the compensation? What I will get, what I will not get.
It's very interesting. This I did not know this about the sharks and the tuna fish. It sounds a little bit like venture capital. Private equity investors are often perceived as sharks, right? Yeah. And if they would only lose 2 companies out of 10, they would actually have an amazing ratio. Yeah. It's maybe something we can learn from fishermen in Japan. A little bit back to topic. we have now this movement in the European Union for the digital euro. We have centralized digital currencies as a dream of the crypto ecosystem. And then again, we have the purists, the OGs of the decentralized assets, right? That say we should keep government out of the equation. What is your take on that?
I think it's a fantasy. If we are going to talk, we should leave the governments away from the situation. That is not possible. I mean, everybody wish could be that, but it is not possible, because at the end, we are leaving an infrastructure which should be in a way regulated. I mean, I'm not talking about the system. I'm talking the life should be regulated. Because when you look, you are living in a circle, I'm living in a circle. We can pass to each other as circles, it's fine. But if I enter your circle, then there is no democracy. So we need some fixed lifestyles. So we need the government for it. And we should tell to our governments, in a way, majority way, what we want from them. And if we are talking, say, the governments in EU, say Germany, France, then they should implement that in EU system, what the people want. I mean, you could not give up, because you need more, like I would say, the governments should not be in the system to move the system, but they should be like an umbrella protecting all the system from a rain.
Very interesting thoughts. I feel I could ask you 1,000 questions. You're like an oracle. Maybe let me conclude with one question that is really dear to me. How do we survive in this, I would say, geopolitically distressed world that we have today, right? With all these innovations that we have at the scientific frontier, all the chances, all these movements that we have, without running into a disaster? How can innovation help us in climate change? How can innovation help us to make the world secure? How can we take the government into equation without losing our sovereignties and yet become one united planet that gives up fighting each other? Is there a chance that technology plays a role in that?
I believe, if you ask me, yes. Because I will give a very different example. It's not a good example, but it's an example. It's the fact. By the time of COVID, everybody lost their freedom. I mean, almost they stayed at homes. They stayed in the places. They could not move. But in the meantime, if you look to the nature is completely renewed. Even the ozone hole is closed. You see the nature regenerated in a very short period, say 1 to 2 years. So it means we are the people who are destroying the system. So not to destroy the system, everybody should know the responsibilities. Because this is the very simple example. If you do something, when you accuse you, you use with one finger to show you. In reality, when you turn your hand, 3 other fingers is showing me. So before we go to accuse someone, we should first look into us, what we are doing. I mean, to giving advices is very easy, but are you doing it? Or you are just giving advices to the people to make money or change things for your favor? So in climate change, we know that the Arctic, we know also Amazon forests are the heart of the world. I mean, if we lose these 2 castles, I would say, there will be no life. I mean, as you see, we are talking from bees. Bees are very important in the life. If they lose their lives, it means our life is in danger. And if you look to the alphabet A, B, so it means when B fails, there is no alphabet. So we should see the life that way. We are reading an alphabet, and all the letters should be there to have a very nice future world that we can leave to our children, to our grandchildren. And I think we could make it.
I believe so as well. And following what you said, that the world recovered during COVID, maybe we need more kids behind the computers, programming new technologies, working on the future, maybe a decentralized future or a more automatic future. We'll see. Maybe the world can change quicker, right? If everybody uses their head and works together. I think this very interesting sentence that you use quite often.
Yeah. Destination or journey. But, if you look destination and journey, okay, you can say journey. But now, as you said, we have a lot of young people, very bright people. They are coming into the field to change the world. Then it means a company is the right answer.
Right. So work together, think together, strive together, unite for a better future, be it decentralized or not.
It's an old saying, they are saying one hand has nothing, but two hands, if you clap, you can make the noise. So teamwork is the key word.
Right. So I hope you guys got some inspiration and you'll get teamwork to work. It was very inspiring speaking with you, Erol. Thank you for being here. You have been an incredible guest. I hope you enjoyed as well. And please don't forget to subscribe if you did. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.